Okay, let's dive in. Imagine this. You're deep in Wayanad, Kerala. It's misty, incredibly green.
Beautiful part of the world, the Western Ghats, right? Ancient mountains.
Exactly. And you can hear these streams just rushing through the landscape.
Yeah, fast-flowing water carving through the forests.
Now, picture focusing right in on one of those streams, and you see this tiny sort of shimmering insect
Uh-huh.
dancing over the water. It's not just any bug, it's a newly found damselfly, Euphaea wayanadensis, the Wayanad Torrent Dart.
Fantastic name, really evocative.
Isn't it? So our mission for this deep dive is to really get into the story of this discovery. Why is this tiny insect actually so important?
And what it tells us about its environment, which is, well, pretty fragile.
Absolutely. Prepare to be amazed by the little things.
It is genuinely amazing, isn't it? I mean, we think we know so much about our planet with satellites and everything.
Right, map in every corner.
And yet, something this visually, well, striking, manages to stay hidden until now.
It really speaks to the depth of what's still out there, especially in places like the Western Ghats.
Totally. We're definitely still just scratching the surface in terms of cataloging life.
So the discovery itself, it happened right there in Wayanad, Kerala, smack bang in this biodiversity hotspot.
A global hotspot, yeah?
And it wasn't just one person stumbling upon it. It was researchers from Kerala and Maharashtra working together.
That collaborative aspect is often key in these kinds of field studies.
They gave it that name, Euphaea wayanadensis, linking it straight to its home.
And the common name, Wayanad Torrent Dart Perfect, tells you exactly where it lives and how it moves.
Darting over those fast streams, it paints such a clear picture.
It does. And the name itself becomes an anchor to its specific habitat, which, as we'll see, is crucial for its survival.
And get this, its size. We're talking about something barely bigger than your pinky finger.
Tiny. It puts these discoveries into perspective, doesn't it? Sometimes the biggest stories come in the smallest packages.
It's humbling, really. So for those of us not up on our damselfly identification, the researchers noted some key differences, especially in the males.
Right, the visual
They
blip.
have this longer black patch on their hind wings, almost like little capes, the description said.
Huh, tiny capes. I like that. And distinctive stripes on the thorax, too. Broad and unbroken.
They sound quite smart. And the females,
A bit more subtle in their markings, which is common. But the males really stand out.
and beyond the looks, I gather the male reproductive parts were also unique.
Exactly. Those minute anatomical details are often the clincher in distinguishing closely related insect species. It's like a biological fingerprint. Tells you about their evolution.
A hidden signature. And this finding wasn't just announced casually, was it? It got the official treatment.
Yes, it was formally described in the journal Entomon, the March 2025 issue. So it's quite a recent addition to the scientific record.
Fresh off the press, relatively speaking.
And getting it published there means it went through rigorous peer review. Other experts checked the work, validated the findings.
Which is crucial. And it wasn't a quick find either, you mentioned. This took time.
Oh yeah, this was a result of about a decade of field work. Serious dedication.
A whole decade. That's incredible persistence. Where did it start?
The initial work began around 2013, focusing along the Kalindi River in Thirunelli, which is in Wayanad.
So for 10 years, this distinct creature was flying around, and it took that level of patient observation to finally say, hey, this one's different.
That's often how it works in taxonomy. Sharp eyes, patience, and comparing notes over time.
And they didn't just find it in that one spot.
No, they also recorded it in Eralam, in the Kannur district, and even across the border on the western slopes of Coorg, in Karnataka.
Okay, so it has a slightly wider range, but still quite localized, it sounds like.
Exactly. Not widespread across India, confined to that specific Coorg Wayanad landscape.
And how did they confirm it was truly new? It wasn't just about looking closely, right?
No, they used a combination of methods. Classic morphological studies, magnifying glasses, detailed sketches looking at the physical form.
The traditional approach.
Combined with modern genetic analysis. DNA sequencing.
The best of both worlds, really. Old school meets new tech.
Precisely. The visual differences hint at something new, but genetics can provide definitive proof, especially when species look very similar.
And there was a similar species they needed to rule out, Euphaea pseudodispar.
That's the one. They look quite alike superficially. You need more than just a quick glance.
It's like telling identical twins apart. You need to know the subtle signs.
A good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
And the DNA analysis was the key here. It showed a 12.9% genetic difference between them.
Wow, 12.9%. Is that a lot? in genetic terms.
Oh, absolutely. That level of divergence is substantial. It clearly marks Euphaea wayanadensis as a distinct species with its own evolutionary path, not just a variation.
Amazing for such a small creature. And these Euphaea damselflies, the genus itself, they generally like tropical streams in Asia.
Yes, the whole Euphaidae family is known for favoring those kinds of habitats, fast-flowing, often shaded streams in tropical regions.
So this new one fits the family profile, but it's still unique.
Exactly. It adds to our understanding of the diversity within that group and how they adapt.
And what does this discovery mean for the overall count of species in the area?
Well, it bumps up the numbers. The total Odonata species, that's all dragonflies and damselflies known from the western Ghats, is now 223.
223, and for Kerala specifically.
It brings Kerala's count to 191. It just keeps reinforcing how incredibly rich the insect life is there.
Each discovery adds another piece to that huge biodiversity puzzle.
It really does. And highlights why we need to keep looking.
Which brings us neatly to the significance, beyond just the numbers. This little damselfly, Euphaea wayanadensis, really shines a light on the Western Ghats biodiversity, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's tangible proof of why that area is considered so globally important. But more than that, this species is particularly interesting because of its habitat needs.
Right. You mentioned it like specific conditions.
Very specific. Pristine, fast-flowing forest streams. Untouched landscapes, essentially. It doesn't just live anywhere.
So it's quite picky.
Extremely picky. And that pickiness makes it what we call an indicator species.
Indicator species, meaning its presence or absence tells us something important.
Exactly. Because it needs such clean, specific conditions, its health reflects the health of the entire stream ecosystem.
So if the damselfly is doing well, the stream is likely healthy. If it's struggling,
It's an early warning sign that something's wrong with the environment. Pollution, deforestation, changes in water flow.
which makes it incredibly vulnerable to changes, I imagine, both natural and human-caused.
Definitely. Natural events like really intense cloudbursts, flash floods, landslides, which seem to be happening more
For
often.
climate change impacts.
Right. And then human activities like logging, which destroys the forest cover, and pollution running into the streams, all major threats.
And its limited range, being stuck in that Wayanad Torrent area, that makes it even more precarious, right?
Absolutely. If its specific habitat areas are damaged, there aren't many other places for it to go. That's the danger for endemic species, species found only in one particular place.
A sobering thought. But looking at the positive, its presence is a good sign for now.
Yes, where it thrives, it signals a relatively healthy freshwater ecosystem in that Kurg-Wayanad landscape. It's like a tiny winged health check for the environment.
A little sentinel. So efforts to conserve this one damselfly actually help protect the whole system.
Precisely. You protect its habitat, keep the streams clean, maintain the forest, and you inevitably benefit countless other species that rely on that same environment. It's all interconnected.
That makes sense. Let's just recap the biology a bit. Damselflies are in the order Odonata, known for those big eyes.
Huge compound eyes, yeah. Incredible vision for hunting and navigating.
And the key difference from dragonflies is how they hold their wings at rest.
That's the easiest way to tell them apart, usually. Damselflies, like our torrent dart, typically fold their wings back along their bodies. Dragonflies hold theirs out flat, like airplane wings.
Got it. And the Euphaea family, the group this one belongs to, known for color.
Often very colorful, yes. And that strong preference for tropical streams. They're adapted for life in moving water.
And the unique things about this species, the wing patches, the stripes, the genetics, all confirm it's on its own evolutionary branch.
Correct. Shaped by its specific environment over a long time.
And Wayanad itself,
Yeah.
the place is just crucial to this story, a hot spot within a hot spot.
It really is. The dense forests, all those streams and waterways. It's the perfect nursery for specialized species like this to evolve.
These streams are lifelines.
Absolutely. Vital habitats, providing water, breeding sites, food for so many creatures.
But as we've said, this balance is under pressure. Climate change, human activities.
It's the reality in many biodiversity hotspots worldwide. Deforestation for agriculture, pollution from various sources, altered rainfall patterns, they all put immense strain on these delicate ecosystems.
And that's where the Wayanad Torrent Dart becomes so important as that indicator.
Yes, its health gives us a direct reading on the health of those streams. If it starts to disappear, we know we have a serious problem that likely affects much more than just the damselfly.
So conservation here isn't just about putting up a Save the Damselfly sign. What does it actually involve?
It's about practical action. Keeping those streams clean is paramount, preventing dumping, controlling agricultural runoff, stopping pollution at the source.
Maintaining the natural environment around them?
Yes, protecting the forest cover is vital. And then there's the bigger picture tackling climate change, which impacts everything from water temperature to flow rates.
And raising awareness must be part of it too, letting people know these amazing creatures exist.
Crucial. You can't care about something you don't know exists. Public awareness builds support for conservation. When people understand the value of biodiversity, even tiny insects.
They're more likely to support efforts to protect it and maybe change their own actions too.
Exactly. Discoveries like this are great opportunities to engage people, to show them the wonders right there in their region, or even globally.
So next time we think about biodiversity, maybe we should picture the Wayanad Torrent Dart, this tiny flash of color over a rushing stream.
A small creature carrying a big message about the health of our planet.
Right. This whole deep dive really shows how even the smallest things are part of this incredibly intricate web of life and how fragile it can be.
It really does make you think.
It leaves you wondering, doesn't it? What other hidden wonders are still out there waiting to be found?
And perhaps more urgently, what can we actually do now to protect these creatures in their homes before they vanish, before we even know they're there?
Maybe a good takeaway is to look closer at our own local environments, see what unique life is there.
Absolutely. You might be surprised what you find, and you might just find a way to help preserve it too.